Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It's a new week. It's a new Monday. I know some of you guys have a bank holiday, especially in the UK. That's what they call them, bank holidays. So you have your day off. And some of us are back on the grind. Some of us haven't even left the grind. And we've got some news here from the weekend because you shouldn't have been paying attention to it. You should have just been blissfully unaware and waited for us to tell you about it. We've got some sports news. We've got some protests that happened over the weekend and other things like that. So welcome to Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we've started. We've just got some caffeine in our body and we're learning to read live on stream. Let's get into today's headlines. Today on Mucking Fonday, Carney signs new strategic partnership with Poland.
And in American sports, professional golf crowns a new champion, and it's not who you would expect. Plus, Trump's TikTok takes off and gets buried.
Ukrainian war veterans swim the Bosphorus Strait in a triumph over their war injuries.
And over the weekend, we have a tornado of missteps at Utah's Beer Fest. What could go wrong?
Mass music festival boycott in the UK after band set cut short over Palestinian flag.
And it's National Kiss and Make-up Day, so you don't have to kiss, but you should probably just stop making enemies with people. August 25th, 2025 on Before Coffee.
In the year 2525, what happened?
You have to listen to the song.
Oh, okay. Who's it by?
It's by Zagger and Evans. They had one hit song.
Zagger and
that was
Evans,
it.
all right. And it's about 2525.
Right. Over the weekend, by the way.
Yeah?
Somebody over at St. Leonard, if you know where that is, it's over in Calvert County. They had a fireworks festival. I went outside to just sit on the porch and watch a little TV or movies on my tablet, and here comes 2 hours of fireworks, just constant fireworks over
across the river.
Eastern.
Yeah,
it sounded like the naval station was getting bombed for 2 hours. They're done. No, they're not done. Here comes some more. I'm like, what the hell is that? It wouldn't
looking
stop.
Up, what the hell is happening in Calvert County? Okay, fireworks.
Yeah, Saturday night, man. I had to look up. Yeah, ridiculous. Oh, okay. We're at war. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty worrying to hear a bunch of explosions when you live near a base, what's a naval base, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, how many bombs are setting off over there? Are they getting drone attacked by somebody? What's going on here? Sneak attack?
Is the attack from Canada finally happening? People keep on making jokes. Trump's gonna annex Canada. It's like, but what if Canada annexes you first?
Here's what the terrorists and our enemies have learned a long time ago. We just eat ourselves. We just plant stupidity with the stupid people, and they'll believe any stupid thing. As long as it's against their enemies, they'll believe it, and then we'll just eat ourselves. We're all stupid. We believe everything. Okay, you got us, man. We're all morons.
America
but you're all
really
morons too, by the way.
The United States, I should say, doesn't have a really great history of working together. I mean, the Civil War happened within 100 years of the country being made, so...
Well, considering it's 50 states, that's really a lot to ask, right?
Yeah, that's
let's talk about the Soviet Union, how long that lasted. How long did the Soviet Union last? What about
it didn't last... What is it, almost 300 years since the United States? Because it's 76, right? So.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
I was around Civil War time. I was like, go ahead, let the Confederate States secede. Let's see how their economy suffers now, because we really accomplished nothing by winning that war. We didn't really win anything. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's not a single...
Slavery would have died on its own.
I mean, I'm not a huge historian. I did take history of Europe, but I think there isn't a single country that's existed for a long, 500 years straight with no change, right? Even
the Roman
Greece
Empire eventually...
state changes, got invaded by the Turks, got invaded by the Persians, I don't think there's a single country that had the same borders, had the same people running it, and had gone to zero changes. So if the United States thinks it's immune to that happenstance, they got another thing coming.
Yeah, well, the Civil War did not solve slavery, by the way, because they just went to another type of slavery called tenant farming.
Yeah, it's called,
so
what do you call?
Sharecropping.
Appeasement.
You work
Appeasement does not work. Didn't work
right,
in World War II. It didn't work in the Civil War.
Here's what sharecropping was. You were a poor slave. You still lived on Massa's land. But Massa could lease it to you and take all the crops you raised and give you nothing. Basically, you're living there just to give him the crops that you raise and keep enough for yourself. And that's all you're right. It's sharecropping. You're never, ever going to own anything. You're still going to live in a freaking rich guy's land and have nothing. So that's what replaced slavery.
Yeah, and
okay,
gives you
a
house and gives you the food that you make yourself, basically.
Wait, what do I need this guy for? He owns the land.
Okay. It's
just
still
out in the fields, and
sharecropping was just feudalism,
money.
Just like back in medieval times.
Now, modern day slavery is just your job because you can't afford to quit. You can't afford to quit your shitty job.
You have to tell me what you're doing with your entire life. Your social media I have to have business in your social media and your private life, and I need to know if you have children and you've had
for God's sake, don't be transgender or anything because we're going to be all up in your shit from now on because government overreach that these so-called right-wingers all hated. They're in the middle of government overreach and they love it. So as a matter of fact, they were never against government overreach. They were just for fascism.
Yeah. Let's roll our segment, Will, before we talk about everything we despise in the world. And it's a Monday.
Yes, spin the wheel. So
Mondays are the days to be like, I hate everything. Let's go mixed metaphor for your first segue and my only story today. This story is coming out of Canada! Right. As we've said many times on this show, Mark Carney is somebody that I believe convicted felon Trump wishes he was, as he's made a strategic partnership with Poland. This is on Zone Politique on Radio Canada. Prime Minister Mark Carney has entered into a new strategic partnership with Poland that will allow Canada to deepen its trade, defense, and energy ties with growing European country, that is Poland, of course. Mr. Carney spent today in Warsaw, where he met with his Polish counterpart, Donald Tusk. Canada and Poland have agreed to collaborate more closely in areas such as defense, aviation, cybersecurity, and clean energy. The two countries will begin holding annual bilateral meetings and work to foster industrial partnerships in sectors. Reminder that Canada, even though it's a big country, only about, I think, 25% of it actually has people that can live there and do stuff, because I think none of it is, in a way, like Siberia, kind of useless, cold land that you can't do anything in. So they do need trade agreements with the rest of the world, just like Russia needs to do that. So, of course, Russia's going the more direct route of invading their neighbors so that they can get that land instead of just making deals. According to Mr. Carney, the agreement with Poland will stimulate European demand for Canadian exports and strengthen Canada's defense presence in Europe. Hell yeah! Canadian maple syrup instead of that weird stuff I have in the cupboard right now. I'm sure Canada exports more than just maple syrup.
Oil, petroleum.
Yeah, probably. At a press conference alongside Mr. Tusk, Mr. Carney argued that it is essential for Canada to collaborate with Europe if it wishes to achieve its objective of quadrupling the pace of its defense investments by the end of the decade. Quadrupling, that is a pretty strong goal. We have learned a lot from Prime Minister and his government, including the importance of playing a full role within the NATO. Mr. Carney mentioned the NATO. It will take us a few years to reach Poland's level of commitment, but it is possible, and we have made that commitment. Prime Minister's office also announced that Canada will chair the International Defense Industry Exhibition in 2026. This event, held annually in Kielce, Poland, is one of the largest defense trade shows in Europe. Hey, buy my tank, only $1 trillion for this tank.
Yay,
Mr. Carney's visit to Poland came after a surprise stopover in Ukraine on Sunday, which was the 24th of August. Speaking alongside Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Mr. Carney urged international partners to step up their support for Ukraine at a critical time in the war with Russia. Yep, it's still warm and still hot, and get a lot of troop movements and stuff in hot weather more than you do in cold weather. Everyone kind of slowed down, gets lethargic in the winter times. Not saying there's no offensive in the winter, but it's just a little harder with all the snow and stuff. Mr. Tusk said he felt Mr. Carney's determination when he saw him speaking with Mr. Zelensky. I understand the desire of Canada, Poland, and our European partners to continue to help Ukraine during the and after the war. We will cooperate closely with Canada in this area, he said. Before meeting Mr. Tusk, Mr. Carney attended a demonstration by Canadian Armed Forces members stationed in Europe as part of Operation Unifier, which is training Ukrainian soldiers. On the 24th of August, Mr. Carney did not rule out sending Canadian troops to Ukraine as a security guarantee against Russia as part of a possible peace agreement. Remember, nobody is agreeing to help actually add men to Ukrainians' troops. They're only agreeing that in peacetime, they put a bunch of soldiers there to make sure Russia stays in line. Because, they obviously can't control themselves.
The old UN peacekeeping force.
Yeah, exactly. And because I think that's the problem with Crimea. I don't know if they did. I mean, I guess I can look this up. Was there a peacekeeping force in Crimea? I don't think there was. Because it happened in 2016, Crimea, 2014, 2016. 2014 they invaded. They decided to separate they returned Crimea to Russia. But I don't think anyone, I can't find anything here, but I don't think anyone left somebody to operate there on the border of Ukraine and Crimea, right with that bridge, to make sure Russia didn't invade from Crimea. And they didn't, I don't think they ended up doing that anyways. They invaded from Belarus, but now they're thinking we probably need to keep people there if this peace agreement ever happens. Especially if what, convicted felon Trump wants, which is, we'll just annex all the land that Russia has and just let them win, basically. Let Russia win all the land and there won't be no physical border in Ukraine. I guess they'll have to build a wall like in Germany, the Berlin Wall, to be like, this is Russia-occupied Ukraine and this is free Ukraine. And then we have to put people on the fucking border for for 30 years or 50 years until something happens, probably. Where was I? Here it is. Defense Minister David McGootney said today on the 25th of August that the shape of Canada's role in maintaining an eventual peace in Ukraine was still under discussion. When Prime Minister Carney spoke, he was speaking in the context of a range of possibilities. He's saying he's not guaranteeing that. He was just saying he was looking into it, but we're not dedicated to doing it. It's a very difficult thing to say in advance, he explained before the meeting between Mr. Carney and Mr. Tusk. We'll see how the situation develops, but we are hopeful that peace will be restored. In Warsaw, Prime Minister Carney also met with Poland's new president, Karol Nawrocki. On tomorrow, the 26th of August, he will head to Germany for a meeting with Chancellor Friedrich Merz. According to Canadian Ambassador to Poland, Catherine Godden, the strategic partnership between the two countries reflects a mutual desire to intensify bilateral trade, particularly in the context of the tariff war that is currently happening right now. Any updates on that? You've probably seen this, but a little update on that. A lot of countries have banned trading with the US. Not the EU in entirety, but like Australia, I think, has decided they're not going to send any goods to the United States anymore because of the tariffs. I think there's 15 countries. I don't have the list right on hand right now. But that's my update on the tariff war. As countries have decided to completely pull out with trade with the United States completely. What that will affect, I don't know, because I don't know all the goods that are traded between all these countries, but we do live in a global economy, so if you notice something's missing, it was probably from Australia. Yep. They do sell a lot of wool. New Zealand as well, I think.
Here's your missed metaphor.
No, not yet.
Your missed
I'm still
metaphor.
reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention an update on that, the tariff war. The scope of what we can achieve together is only expanding, he argued in a press scrum. Poland's importance is constantly growing. It is now the fastest growing economy in Europe, so we must take Poland into account. Poland is one of the fastest growing European economies the past decade. The country has assumed increasing geopolitical importance since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Global Affairs Canada's profile of Poland indicates that the two countries maintain a strong and enduring partnership based on shared fundamental values, mutual respect, and sustained cooperation. According to Marcin Gabris, chairman of the Canadian Studies Department at the Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland has said, very solid foundations is in its relation to Canada. Yeah, here you go. New relationship on the global stage. Canada and Poland, new besties. A 2017 trade agreement doubled trade between the two countries, but Gabris noted that Canada now has a trade deficit with Poland. Companies exporting more goods and investing more in Canada than vice versa. What the hell, Canada? Pull your weight! There are more opportunities for economic cooperation, he said, particularly in the areas of mining and essential minerals. Much of Canada's recent engagement with Poland has been in Ukraine, from the Ottawa's resettlement program that brought thousands of Ukrainian women and children to Canada via Poland to collaborate, strengthen, and the defense of the countries of the NATO bordering Russia. So, there's your news on Canada and Poland's growing relationship that hopefully will only get stronger so that Russia doesn't freaking bully Poland. Nobody bully Poland. Leave them alone. They've had enough. For the history of the world, they've had enough. Now, give me your mixed metaphor.
Oh, okay. Yes! Canada is like that neighbor we used to share recipes with, but now my crazy uncle has moved in and all he wants to do is piss all over the food. Crazy uncle being the crazy one.
The crazy those ones over there, yeah. For
in,
sure.
In the orange spray tan, that guy. We won't mention by name. I like his new nickname is Cankles McTaco Tits. Cankles McTaco Tits, because he's got the swollen ankles.
I've not heard that one.
Cankles McTaco Tits. That's his new nickname. We'll be using that one. All right, next.
Next segue is sarcasm, and it's your story.
All right, sarcasm. We're going to talk about the first. We're going to talk about the sports. We're going to do sports. We're going to lead off on Mondays with sports. We got golf. There's two world golf organizations. There's one called LIV, which is owned by the Saudis, where they only play 3 days instead of 4, and they're guaranteed prize money just for showing up. So it's just basically an exhibition to, I don't know,
exhibition game, yeah.
each other.
Hey, look, I can.
It's
like a show. Anymore. It's like show ponies, right? Look, I can also hit balls with my other club.
Yeah. Yeah, Live Golf is the Saudis ruining an American sport, basically. Like, oh yeah, ruin it. It's as if they bought all the NFL teams and you just gave them $1 billion just to play the game and nobody cares who wins. But
okay, there's just no for you. There's just no competition in it, right?
The Professional Golf Association still awards you if you finish first, and you get less if you finish second, and so forth and so on, right? You don't get nothing if you don't even make the cut, right? Like, oh, did you make the cut? Well, the PGA Tour has its own Super Bowl. It's called the PGA Championship. The championship is not the PGA Championship, the tournament, but PGA Championship, the event, which is over the course of a year. Everybody accumulates points and everybody gets seeded, and they have the top 30 only finally qualify for the last tournament, and it was won this year by Tommy Fleetwood of England. Yes, Tommy, who has never won on the PGA Tour before.
Woohoo!
But we're going to get into the story. A very popular win. Tommy Fleetwood never lost hope. This is from Doug Ferguson of AP News. Tommy Fleetwood never lost hope, never made excuses. Each time that exclusive PGA Tour victory slipped away, his popularity soared, not just as a sympathetic figure, but for his attitude and the sincere joy he showed the players that beat him in the toughest of losses. The cheers and chants, Tommy, 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 heard Sunday's approach to 18th green as Tour Championship provided the sweetest sound. Let's not forget he's British, and this is an American crowd cheering for them, with American golfers in the field, right?
He's just the new star,
that's how popular he
is. Yeah.
Hey, well, he's not new at all. Not new at all. He's just
new to being a star, is what I'm saying. No,
let's finish the story. No stranger to the big stage and around the world with 8 titles. He has 8 titles around the world, but not in the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Ryder Cup heroics. Ryder Cup, of course, the Ryder Cup is America versus Europe in golf. So that's going to take place in October. The Ryder Cup happens, and Fleetwood will be on the other side. He'll be on the European side. But for now, Tommy Fleetwood's a hero in America. He closed with a 2 par 68 for a 3-shot victory in the Tour Championship for his first PGA Tour, picking up $10 million as the FedEx Cup champion. That's right, he's a champion for the whole season, not just for this tournament. Right. It is easy to say you're resilient, but it's hard when you have to be. I feel lucky to show this side of myself, and I feel lucky it's paid off, Fleetwood said. Staked to a lead when Patrick Cantlay started double bogey. Fleetwood didn't flinch when Cantlay closed it within 1 shot when Scotty Scheffler, who is the world's #1 and has been for 2 years, or almost 3 years, Scotty Scheffler made 3 birdies of big momentum going back on the back 9, when he stared over 200 yards of water to Peninsular Green on the 15th hole. Okay, the Peninsular Green just means it's a hole that's an island. It's completely surrounded by water. There's a little bridge walking out to it, but you got to land it on the island, or you got no chance of doing good in this hole. So
otherwise, it's in the water.
The 15th hole, very short hole, but it's a small little dot you got to hit with your ball and keep it on that island. So he went to the 15th hole, his last big obstacle. When you lost it so many times, a 3-shot lead down the last doesn't feel like that many, Fleetwood said with a smile before going to collect a reward long overdue. Perhaps it was fitting that his first PGA Tour title in 164 tries came with 2 trophies, the FedEx Cup and the Calamity Jane replica putter for winning the Tour Championship.
Calamity Jane,
journey is a reminder.
Western...
Famous Buffalo Bill Western show star.
Yeah.
Sure shot Calamity Jane. Yeah. Your journey is a reminder that hard work, resilience, and heart to do pay off. No one deserves it more, Tiger Woods posted on social media. Rory McIlroy was never a factor, but was hopeful before leaving East Lake when the conversation turned to Fleetwood. I think it shows how great of an attitude he has towards the game, how resilient he is. American Ryder Cup captain, Keegan Bradley was within 1 shot of the lead on the front 9, but wound up with a 70 to tie for 7th. He said he was dead tired, and now he has to decide whether to use his 6 captain picks on himself. He announced Wednesday. Yeah, don't pick yourself, man. That's poor form. The only thing I care about on Sunday of the Ryder Cup is that we win the Ryder Cup. Then I'll know, okay, that's all about something else. But this day, this moment belonged to Fleetwood. It completes the story of near misses. Winning on the PGA Tour was a step I wanted to take. He has been reminded far too often about a career lacking a PGA Tour victory. It was the 3rd time in the last 2 months he went to the final round with no one in front of him, only to see someone else with the trophy. He saw a 1-shot lead turn into a 1-shot loss at the Travelers when he took 3 putts from the front green, and Bradley made the birdie. Fleetwood then let a 2-shot lead with 3 holes get away from him at the FedEx St. Jude Championship to start the postseason. For all the hurt, he never lost hope. Tomorrow might be my time, it might not, he says Saturday evening, but I still have a great time doing it. It was his time, and he had a blast. Thousands of fans surrounded the 18th green at East Lake to watch the 38-year-old from England, all of whom chanting his name. Justin Rose, who rallied past him 2 weeks ago, and Shane Lowry, both British... Justin Rose is from England, Shane Lowry from Ireland, but they're all good friends. Shane Lowry stuck around to share this big moment. Of course, they're all Ryder Cup teammates, too.
Yeah.
Fleetwood removed his cap when he tapped in for par, looked at a cloudy sky, and let those long locks flow as he let out a yell. This wasn't the most comfortable I've been, Fleetwood said. With an easy smile, I felt like a great attitude through it all. I'm so happy it's done. 2-shot swing on the 10th. We're going to this. We're going to say he has 30 top 5 finishes, which is the most in history for someone without a win. But now he has a win. So somebody else will have to claim the most victories without a win, most top 5s without a win.
And what was the par? What was his par?
Under par, he was, I believe, 18 under par. So yeah, it's a 4-day tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, 18. It takes you 4 rounds to get that far. You can just get 18 under par in one. You only play 18 holes for one thing. It's impossible to get 18 under par. That's never been done in one. So yeah, over 72 holes, right? He's 18 under par.
Sounds like
right,
to me there was somebody against him this whole time. 30 successful and never winning a championship.
Yeah, 30 top 5.
Vicious sarcasm.
All right, gotcha. 30 top 5. Yeah, somebody's against it. All right, next story. We're going to talk about White House.
Woo! Sorry, I just want to... I mean, he finally got one, right? He finally got a championship.
Oh, yeah, again, a very popular win because, again, I'm watching this on TV. The poor guy playing with Tommy was 3 shots back, and every time he missed, people would cheer. And when his ball went in, his Patrick Cantlay, that's how loud the applause was.
Classic golf clap. Yeah.
Everybody there is like, we don't want you to win, Patrick Cantlay. Nice that you hit that little putt, but we don't want you to win. And when Tommy Fleetwood would hit a putt, it's like, whoa! They all lose their freaking mind. I'm like, yeah, I think the crowds have picked the favorite.
I think we've got a biased crowd here. Yeah.
I'm saying Patrick Cantlay was American, right? And the crowd was for Tommy, and he's not American. It's just amazing. Golf fans don't give a shit. They just like personalities, right?
Fuck nationalities. It's all about who's the best. That's what I say.
That's right. That's right. And again, Rory McIlroy from Northern Ireland won the Masters this year in a crowd. That's another Georgia crowd. Both of these are Georgia crowds, all behind the Irish guy of all things. All right, now Yahoo.com has a story about Trump and his idiotic attempt at being on TikTok. Not himself. I'm sure he has a staffer that's totally out of their depths. But anyway,
Zoomer running it or something.
And Cankle's McTaco Tits, chief meme maker, has left the role just as the White House attempt to launch a TikTok account blew up in his face and Democrats found their internet attack dog. The internet attack dog, of course, is Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, whose social media team is totally just running laps around Trump right now, but that doesn't really matter that much. Who cares? Twitter, nothing really ever happens on Twitter. Nothing really happens on TikTok either, but this is a fun story anyway. Billy McLaughlin, who joined the White House as director of digital content following Diaper Donnie's inauguration in January, announced his departure from the role in an op-ed for Fox News. While it's unclear when exactly he left the role, his LinkedIn lists him as being in the role until July. Many were quick to point out that the White House had just tried to launch a new TikTok account the previous day, only to receive substantial amount of criticism and trolling from users in response. Progressive broadcaster Brian Taylor Cohen posted a collage of screenshots of comments left on the White House's TikTok videos alongside a screenshot of McLaughlin's ex-post writing, "Wow, it looks like the White House just booted their director of digital content after they launched a TikTok page that got flooded with thousands of comments calling for Trump to release the Epstein files." In his article for Faux News, McLaughlin wrote that serving as director of digital content for President Trump was the most meaningful and intense chapter of my professional life, he said in his
let's hope you have a better one,
voice.
Dude. Don't stop there.
Okay.
Pretty low bar to have as the highest point of your life.
Oh yeah, a high point of my life is being Trump's mouthpiece. Oh boy, I love me a fascist. Give me some more. From the moment we rebooted the administration's online presence on Inauguration Day, the mission was clear, speaking a voice that resonated with real Americans. What the fuck's a real American? And make sure our mega message cannot be ignored. Well, I ignored it. I continue to ignore it. I don't even know what your message is other than racism.
To be honest, I don't know why people are still using TikTok after they've threatened to take it down over and over again. Just stop using the website, honestly.
Right. It is only the last couple of weeks that Democrats have found a way to fire back in meme world, which means, again, nothing. California Governor Gavin Newsom has published a raft of high-profile memes and social posts claiming slamming White House policies. Newsom's office went on a Trump-style rampage calling out woke Tomi Lahren.
Okay.
Who was a nobody. and labeling Christy Nome as Commander Cosplay. I love that one. And posting parody memes of Kid Rock and JD Vance. Kid Rock and JD Vance. I think JD Vance and Kid Rock are the same person, actually.
Have you ever seen them in the same room?
No, I haven't.
Suspicious.
And, right. Trump administration's use of memes to promote and celebrate controversial policies like the establishment of Alligator Alcatraz, which is basically just 4 walls in the ceiling, and the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. By the way, Alligator Alcatraz, big boondoggle for builders.
Undocumented. As far as we know, undocumented.
Yeah.
As that's what they tell us.
The only thing that's undocumented is their process of locking people up. That's the only thing that's undocumented.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's
in jail? We have no idea. They don't have the papers.
You can't prove who you are. We're locking you up because we're fascists. Of course, Alligator Alcatraz's fake prison was just basically a boondoggle for construction companies to make shitloads of money without it being traced. Because that's all that's going on with our government now. People looting it wholesale without it being traced. Yay, democracy. Anyway, and the mass deportation of immigrants drew significant criticism, particularly from Democrats, who called AI-generated image of an ICE officer arresting a crying woman offensive and disrespectful. Exactly. Oh, we're going to make fun of people getting their children taken. Oh, we're so nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Remember, these people are losers, and losers are clowns.
TikTok users were quick to highlight the hypocrisy with one comment on TikTok's video reading, "I thought TikTok was a national security threat. At least that's what Trump said on August 6, 2020. Executive order to ban it. Now they have an official White House account. This just proves it was never about security. They just wanted to control it." In addition, many of the account's videos have been flooded with comments about Epstein's files. One comment that consists of AI-generated image of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein in drag has received over 32,000 likes, while another depicting Trump and Epstein as a couple caught in the Coldplay Kiss Cam scandal. Oh, yes. "I am shocked they don't have comments disabled," one person joked. Yeah, shocking, right? So TikTok is a disease that we gotta get rid of. It has had no purpose whatsoever except to make people dumber. I'm not a big fan of it, but whatever. People like what they like. So, where's your sarcasm? Let it flow.
My sarcasm? Oh, darn. Yeah. I feel so bad that I've missed out on these great government memes, because we all know that 80-year-olds are really great at making memes. They're actually geniuses at it. And they've never made a bad one in their lives. Nothing's more lame, right? Nothing's more lame than taking a thing that young people do, getting a bunch of old people who don't even understand it, and then making them make it, right?
Right.
Every single young person since the history of time, when they say, "Oh, my parents are into this," I'm not into it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
As soon as white guy starts to use the black lingo, it's also become, "Oh yeah, you've made fun of our word. Now we're not using it anymore, whitey. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You're using a word. You've ruined it for everyone."
Not worth it. Okay, let's roll our next segue for my next story.
That's why I'm getting my own words. Just because. Nobody can make fun of you if you invent your own words. Okie dokie. What's the wheel say?
More metaphor. Oh, this time not mixed. Just straight.
Oh, just a metaphor. Okay.
Straight metaphor. Right. This next story is coming out of the Bosphorus, which I don't even actually know where that is, so I probably should figure out where that is. The Bosphorus Strait is a narrow strait in northwestern Turkey. Okay, there we go. It's
there we go.
straddled by the city of Istanbul, and it goes to the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara. So there we go. It's what is considered one of the continental boundaries between Asia and Europe, even though technically Asia and Europe are one continent. There's nothing that separates them, but this is one of the ways, something you'd have to cross. If you want to go all the way from Europe to Asia, you have to cross this strait at some point, or go around it. So, the Bosphorus Strait, they've done a swim across it to raise money and show support for war veterans, especially Ukrainian war veterans, which are the current, the current war right now. This is by Evgeny Malolekta and Hannah Arhirova on AP News. During a pool training session months ago, Ukrainian war veteran Ole Serkovny was struck by an idea. What if a group of veterans swam across the Strait of Bosphorus between Turkey's European and Asian shores? And they did it on August 24th, Ukraine's Independence Day. Oh, shit, it was Ukraine's Independence Day yesterday. Well,
Yes.
belated congratulations for leaving the Soviet Union. The symbolism of the day would draw attention to the toll and devastation inflicted by Russia's full-out war on Ukraine, now in its 4th year. When the 34-year-old pitched the idea to fellow veterans in their One for Another support group, none raised injuries, particularly their amputation, as a barrier. Two joined him right away. So what if I'm missing an arm? I can still swim. They trained for months with the support of Superhuman Center, a veterans rehabilitation clinic in Ukraine, and coached by Capital TRI, an amateur triathlon team in Kyiv. They agreed their race would have another goal, to raise money for prosthetics, which remain costly and urgently needed by many of Ukraine's wounded. We're not asking for pity, Serkovny told the Associated Press shortly before the competition. We're asking for support. Well, hopefully they have somewhere for me to donate here in the comments. After months of rigorous training, discipline, and physical challenges, the 3 Ukraine veterans on Sunday, the 24th of August, joined more than 2,800 swimmers from 81 countries in a 6.5 kilometer or 4-mile crossing from Asia to Europe. So it wasn't just them, right? A lot of people signed up to do this swim. The Bosphorus Intercontinental Swimming Race is an open water event held each year in Istanbul, organized by the Turkish Olympic Committee since 1989. All 3 Ukrainians completed the crossing, each swimming for more than an hour. 2 veterans with amputations faced setbacks even before the start. The organizers initially barred them from competing, insisting that they have to be in a separate category for people with disabilities. But they persevered and swam the race alongside people with all their limbs. For Ukraine, it wasn't just about endurance, but about reclaiming control over bodies transformed by war, and sharing the recovery with the world that often seems indifferent to the injuries they carry. So we've got one guy who's missing basically almost his entire leg, right? Right, like the top of the thigh, not even the knee, right? Even farther up. And then you've got a guy who's missing only his ankle to his foot, so he's just missing a foot. And I think the other guy doesn't look like he has any injuries, but maybe he has injuries that I can't see. And there's just a picture of them underwater, and they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Sports has always been a part of Serkovny's life, but war and injury pushed him to use a survival tool after 2 severe, life-changing concussions, a bridge back to life for war veterans with disabilities. Sports itself heals. We've seen that firsthand, he said. In the community, it pulls you through, it pushes you, it disciplines you. When he speaks, he's quick to point out the changes he sees in himself. The stutter, the involuntary twitch in the eye. It's what's left over. It used to be much worse, he said. Both of his concussions were the result of prolonged exposure to artillery fire while serving on the front line. So he has a neurological condition, not a physical condition. He was a sniper when the second one hit. So he was sniping and he got hit by some artillery fire. Afterward, he said, it felt like he had lost his sense of balance entirely. There were times I could walk, but then suddenly I'd just tip over like a pencil, Serkovny said. I have 3rd-degree hearing loss on one side, no peripheral vision. Well, that makes it really hard to keep your balance. The sense of being a sick person, he said, felt so foreign to him that he threw himself into recovery with everything he had. For a long time, he also had PTSD symptoms, including dramatic flashbacks to the war. But it was in the pool that he found a way to recognize the warning signs. I began to understand what triggered them, when they come, and how to stay ahead of them. Big Cope. Engineer Pavlo Povstik signed up as a volunteer early in the days after Russia's full-scale invasion in 22 February, serving as a driver in an intelligence unit. He stepped on a landmine in 23. Yet again, my least favorite war, the biggest war crime, landmines. Just the worst thing ever. Glass took his foot, and subsequent surgeries led to partial amputation of his left leg. The 47-year-old, who used to be an active swimmer as a child, never thought swimming would become his lifeline. He was still recovering from his injury when he began sneaking into the swimming pool, keeping it a secret from the doctors. Water became a kind of savior for me, he said. At a time, everything felt disoriented. But in the water, my thoughts, my strength, my body, it all came together again, and I became myself again, just different. The idea to swim the Strait in Turkey almost as a dare then became a plan. To cross the Bosphorus, you need not just physical strength, but a certain mindset. A state of determination that all of us managed to find within ourselves, he said. Alexander Dashko discovered swimming only after losing his left leg. The 28-year-old had joined the military as the start of the Russian invasion and served in the infantry in various frontline areas. In 23 of June, a mine exploded near him and shrapnel tore into his knee. Ouch. It didn't take it very gracefully, he said. He said he counted the conflict feeling that tormented him for so long. Adjustment to life with an amputation has been slow and mentally taxing. It was only over the past year that he was able to focus on physical rehabilitation, and swimming, he said, had become the activity that brings him a sense of calm. The challenge of swimming the Bosphorus became a purpose for Dashko. When I do nothing, I slip back to the state right after the injury. Depression, apathy, the feeling that amputation is winning, he said. But when something like this shows up on my path, it gives me a jolt. To live, to move forward, to motivate others. Physical goals, he said, help him anchor him. He hopes for more such challenges, not just for himself, but other veterans. Honestly, if it weren't for this, I'd probably be drunk, lying under a fence somewhere, he said. So, there you go, your inspiration. I know it's not Good Tuesday News Day, but there's your early inspiration for some veterans of the Ukrainian war that is still happening. Not only raising awareness, but also raising money to help other people get prosthetics they need to continue a life post-war. Give me a metaphor or simile.
A metaphor for this would be actually different metaphors in the story. Swimming with one leg is kind of like having a country that's missing some land for some reason.
Yeah. And hopefully they can get it back. No, this prosthetic is a metaphor for not getting annexed.
Right.
So
we're
keep on
swimming
fighting
around
out
in
there.
circles. We're swimming around in circles because we got one leg.
I do wish they gave me like a link of where I could, if anybody watching the show wants to donate to the cause of getting these legs and other limbs and arms for these Ukrainian veterans, but they didn't even say. They just said we wanted to raise money for it, and I guess they did. I don't know. they tried to raise money for it, I guess. Let's roll my segue. Or your story.
All right, so I have a video for you. Okay. We'll have that for you in a minute after I finish my story, because I'm going to read. I'm
going to re-roll because I got sarcasm again. Forgot the re-rollers over here.
The re-rolling blues. I got the re-rolling blues.
Reminds me of the song.
Reminds you of a song. All right. The Beehive State. Utah is the Beehive State. That's right. This is a story from SL Trib. I think that's SaltLakeTribune.com. SLTrib.com. Colby Peterson has the story. A tornado of missteps. Utah Beer Fest future uncertain after chaotic event. Oh my God, let's mix Mormons and beer and see what happens. Lisa Williams expected to discover and drink new kinds of beer and interact with brewery representatives at this month's Utah Beer Fest like she had in years past. Instead, she and many others that attended the first day of the two-day beer festival held August 16th to 17th, 2 weekends ago, at the Gateway, were left frustrated by an event that Williams described as pure chaos. What could go wrong? Pete Saltas, publisher for Salt Lake City Weekly and organizer for the publication's Utah Beer Fest, held almost every August since 2010. Probably didn't have it during the pandemic, maybe. I'm not sure. Posted a statement on Instagram on Wednesday that read in part, "There are no words that can fully convey the depth of our regret, nor the disappointment we feel that has been clearly expressed to us by many of you, particularly those who attended the Utah Beer Fest on Saturday afternoon. We are sorry for that. This year was just a tornado of missteps," Saltas told the Salt Lake Tribune. Emphasizing the first hours of the event's first day were the worst. In an Instagram post on Saturday, Salta described the tale of two festivals, one plagued by heat, long lines, and confusions on Saturday afternoon, and one that had laughter, shorter lines, and cooler weather on Saturday evening. Oh yeah, blame the weather. It was the weather.
Why didn't we check the weather the week before to know what would happen? Oh.
Wait a minute. This says it's going to be hot in August. That's really controversial. I don't know. Anyway, back to the story. But at this point, the future of the Utah Beer Fest, billed as the largest beer event in Utah, that's hard to top that, I won't dispute that, right, is in jeopardy. The fest itself is in jeopardy, and commenters on social media are questioning whether a good beer event can happen in Utah at all. Utah, you're getting yourself a bad reputation. Are we turning into Louisiana and Mississippi? Are we turning into Alabama and Arkansas?
I think because of Mormons, it's been a little backwards there for a while. But.
Yeah. Oh, now you get a little alcohol in you, and you start turning into hillbillies. Is that what we're saying here? Williams attended the Utah Beer Fest with her husband and parents after taking front runner from Ogden. I don't know what that means. Must be a train or something. They paid $42 a piece for tickets that would grant them the privilege of entering the festival an hour before it opened to the public. Yeah, you want to get your drink on beforehand, right? An hour before public. She said they waited for line for 10 minutes for the gates to open before they got their IDs and bags checked and received their punch cards for beer and cider along with their 5-ounce sample mugs. Full 5 ounces at a time. I'm going to get drunk 5 ounces at a time. But once Williams and her group got inside, the bartenders turned them away, saying they had the wrong wristbands, and that even if they had their correct wristbands, they couldn't serve them drinks until 3 p.m. anyway. Yeah, we got us some rules here for you drunks. Williams and her party had to go back to the front entrance to try to sort out the wristband problem. She said they never saw any benefit from spending extra money for early attendance. You get to go early and get nothing. Wow. By the way, thanks for the money. Once they were served, they also found that the beer was being poured by third-party bartenders, not brewery staff, who could tell them about what they were drinking. And the dozens of individual brew booths that had been there in years past had been replaced by 8 large commercial bartends. All right, fascism. All right, right on, man. With few access points to get drinks, the line got so incredibly long that you didn't even know you were there in line. That's how long the lines were.
You're just standing somewhere. What is this, the line? I think it is.
Is this a line? What's it for? No idea, but I'm in a line. You could just tell people were getting more and more irritated as the time went on. Oh boy, paying $42 to stand in line in the heat. That sounds like a fun. Once she and her group, to drink beer. That's all you're doing. You're just drinking beer. That's it. Once she and her group were finally able to get the drinks, their experience did improve. Of course, yeah, a few drinks in you, it's like, you can melt me now. I'm good. But they ended up leaving at around 5:30 p.m. without even using half of the 10 punches available in their punch cards. Oh, wow. You got 5 beers for $42. Nice. And you had to stand in the line for them. Unless organizers work to improve their event next year, Williams said it's unlikely she'll be back. From what attendees have been saying in social media, she's not alone. I think Utah Beer Fest is a fun event, and I've joined it a lot in the past, Williams said. I think there was a real lack of communication. And that was its downfall this year, and I think they've lost a lot of patrons because of that. Saltas, who was the organizer, told the Tribune that the biggest problems of the 25 Utah Beer Fest stem from the fallout of last year's event. Again held at the Gateway, the 2024 Utah Beer Fest was filled with happy campers all around, Salta said, despite having rainy weather for both days of the festival. But even though Salta said he would describe the 24 Beer Fest as a tremendous success, City Weekend management got a nasty surprise a couple of weeks later when they learned the State Bureau of Investigation that found the event in violation of state liquor law and the terms of single event permit. Yeah, so they got, according to documents, was penalized for 3 violations of the 24 Utah Beer Fest. A festival employee consuming alcohol while on duty, a patron having more than one alcoholic beverage at a time, and a patron receiving free alcohol. Oh my God! Oh, the humanity! Oh no! Somebody had 2 drinks in her hand. Somebody got free beer, and somebody somewhere working there consumed alcohol. Oh my God,
That's
Utah.
just unprofessional. I have to agree with that.
Not humanity. How is Utah ever going to survive this? People drinking beer in public. One of the 3 violation counts is considered serious by DABS. DABS, great name for a... DABS, of course, is a way to sample weed. Way to sample hash oil, dabs, 1 dab at a time, which is ironic. The highest possible total of fine would have been $9,000. So anyway, this thing was a total disaster from the start. I guess Sunday's day was better, mostly because less people were there, and they're like, "Hey, I ain't going back to that crap."
Everyone heard this place is actually trash, so don't go. And then nobody went.
It's like, yeah, I spent $42 and I got 5 total punch cards, and I've only got a 5-ounce glass, which tells me I've got 25 ounces of alcohol for $42. Woohoo! And I had to stand in line for it. Woohoo! Nice. All right.
Okay,
There's
I've got
story.
a song for you, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Let me know if you can. I think you know this
That's
one.
great.
If I can get it to play. You got it, Amazon.
I don't know if I can hear it.
Can you hear it?
I hear nothing so far. Nope.
Okay.
I hear nothing.
I guess it's not
What's
working.
the song?
It
What's the
is
song?
Making Plans for Nigel, which these guys did not do. So they failed completely to make plans for Nigel and Saturday, except for Saturday evening, right? Which was good.
Yeah, Nigel. My XTC. My XTC. The
XTC,
song
yep.
we're eventually going to play.
Drums and Wires.
That song we're eventually going to play when Hurricane
Well, maybe
Nigel
that's the
hits.
problem. They only made plans for Nigel. They made plans for no one else, and everyone else had a bad time. That was the problem.
XTC, yeah.
They're only making plans for Nigel.
When you're underrated new wave bands, they had songs like Peter Pumpkinhead and Dear God's a great one by XTC. If you want to, if you want a good
you
profound,
like new wave.
Yeah, a profound
story?
group in every way. I know that's my only story. It was a little long, so I didn't plan on another one.
I rolled the segue wheel. I didn't get
Segue
your
wheel.
video. If you sent me a video, I haven't got it yet. So maybe try again.
I know I was too busy. I was too busy flapping my gums. I haven't sent it yet.
Okay, your segue is a mixed metaphor. Or do you want to re-roll?
No, let's not do that again. I've had metaphor 3 times in a row now.
Well, twice, but yeah, we'll roll it again.
No, I had mixed, then I had regular, and
That's it.
anything. But okay. What do we get?
Non sequitur.
All right.
My culture story is going to be about boycotting festivals over the weekend. That's right. In the UK, a lot of festivals, maybe not only in the UK, but I think specifically the UK is what we're talking about here. A lot of people, actual bands, right? Not people going to the festivals, but bands are boycotting the festivals after some drama happened because the UK is just going after bands that show the Palestinian flag, which of course, if you're anywhere in the punk area of the genre of music, probably even even folk can be a little punk, right? Everyone's like, oh, you don't want me to show Palestinian flags? Well, I'm bringing one on purpose. Fuck you. This is from David Morpland on Euronews Culture. Several bands pulled out from the Victorious Music Festival over the weekend. In some cases, just hours before their scheduled performances. They were standing in solidarity with the Irish folk group. See, like I said, even folk people are protesting. The Merry Wallopers, who had their set cut short. They had their set cut short for displaying a Palestinian flag on stage. Just keep on censoring people, dude. You're just gonna ask everyone to do it in solidarity, right? Even people who are like neutral about the whole conflict, they're like, fuck you. You can't tell us what flags we're allowed to bring on stage. Several artists boycotted and pulled out of Victoria's Festival in Portsmouth, UK this weekend over a set that was cut short. On the 22nd of August, which was last Friday, Irish band the Merry Wallopers made it halfway through their opening song when their sound was cut by the festival organizers. The Palestinian flag on stage with them was taken away, despite the crowd standing by the band and leading chants, "Free, free Palestine!" They're creating a whole culture movement here in the UK. Famously, right, the UK is oddly taking the side of Israel very stringently. And of course, what does that mean? Government officials are being paid. They're making money, right? They got a lot of lobbyists. I think it's called APAC. Yes, APAC. Got a lot of hands in the pies of the UK government, and now they're pulling the strings. A festival spokesperson said he spoke to the artist before the performance regarding the festival's long-standing policy of not allowing flags of any kind at the event, but that we respect their right to express their views during the show. Although a flag was displayed on stage contrary to our policy, and this was raised with the artist's crew, the show was not ended at this point. It was the artist's decision to stop the song. This isn't our fault, actually. Even though we cut their sound, they could have kept playing without the sound.
They could have just kept playing with no amplifiers. What's wrong with you?
So just what if we unplugged all of their equipment? They could have still played their instruments. It turns out that statement, however, is misleading.
Duh.
And then we've got a post on Instagram from the Merry Wallopers, I believe. Yesterday, a famine was declared in Gaza, where at least 65 people were killed in Israel's attacks, all while Israel pushed ahead with plans to split the West Bank in two. These are the important facts about yesterday. We are uploading the video so everybody can see. Victoria's Festival cut our gig short for having a Palestinian flag on stage. I mean, even if they knew they weren't allowed to have a flag on stage, they still did it in a political maneuvering to express that thing, right? We've had a long-standing policy that no flags are allowed. That's what, that's the festival's defense. The festival had released a misleading statement to the press claiming that they cut our sound because of a discriminatory chant, and not the band's call to free Palestine. A video clearly shows a Victoria's crew member coming on stage, interfering with our show, removing the flag from the stage, and then the sound being cut following a chant of "Free Palestine." Same crew member is later heard in the video saying, "You aren't playing until the flag is removed." We completely reject Victoria's betrayal of today's event and request that they retract their statement immediately. We know that this is getting some attention and we don't want other distractions which take attention away from the genocide that is happening in Palestine. Free Palestine. I mean, at the end of the day, you win. If your protest gets a lot of flack, you can still say, "Hey, thanks for noticing me, guys. Free Palestine. Thanks for putting the spotlight on me." And at the end of the day, the Merry Wallopers win what they wanted to do, right? They updated the fans on the Instagram post, which I already just read. The band were referring to the Integrated Food Security Phase Classification IPC, the world's leading authority on food crisis, officially announcing last Friday on the 22nd of August that Gaza City is gripped by famine, that it's likely to spread across the territory without a ceasefire, and to end to restrictions on humanitarian aid. Reminder that they are having, I don't know how many people know about this, but they are only allowing a certain amount of supplies to go in, and it's less than the daily intake a normal human needs to live. Less water, less food, less anything else that you need to live. So they are in a famine and they're being purposely malnourished in order to, spurn any continued revolt against being bombed by Israel. So yeah, if everyone just dies of starvation, there's nobody there to worry about anymore. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to restrict humanitarian aid to begin with, but hey, I'm not a country. The band then added regarding the festival statement that we already read that. It was misleading. Please free. The flag was...
Yeah. You people could have played music. Just get on a megaphone.
Yeah. Following this incident, a number of artists announced they would not be playing the program set at Victorious, including The Last Dinner Party, Clifford's, and The Academic. The Last Dinner Party said, "We are outraged by the decision made to silence the Merry Wallopers yesterday at Victorious. As a band, we cannot co-sign political censorship and will therefore be boycotting the festival today. All as Gazans are deliberately plunged in a catastrophic famine after 2 years of escalating violence, it is urgent and obvious that artists use their platforms to draw attention to the cause. To see any attempt to direct attention away from the genocide in order to maintain a political image is immensely disappointing. We're not political, we're just a festival. Music is political, assholes. Throughout the summer, we have used our stages to encourage our audience to donate even a drink's worth of money to medical aid for Palestinians. Today, we urge you more than ever to do the same. We are so deeply sorry to our fans who are looking forward to seeing us today, and we are devastated to be put in this position that upsets both of us and you. Free Palestine." And then the Academic said, "We've taken the decision to pull out of Victorious Festival. We can't in good conscience stand up and play at a festival that silences free speech and the right to express your views. We stand in solidarity with other Irish acts here in the weekend, up to Merry Wallopers, Free Palestine," and then a bunch of Palestinian flags. Faced with the boycott, the festival posted a second statement saying that they didn't handle the explanation of our policies sensitivity or far enough in advance to allow sensible conclusion to be reached. It's just a misunderstanding. Guess what, guys? We're calling your bluff. Good luck with all the refunds, I guess.
Yeah, I'm
We would
I wonder if they even are going to give me refunds.
Yeah. We would like to sincerely apologize to all concerned. We absolutely support the right of artists to freely express their views from stage. We just don't like flags. We're anti-flag wavers. Within the law and the inclusive nature of the event, our policy on not allowing flags of any kind, which has been in place for many years, as far as they say, for wider event management and safety reasons. That's right, flags can hurt you.
Oh my God, flags are dangerous.
My child got suffocated a flag in '96, and now no more flags. It's not meant to compromise that right. We accept that although mics remained live for longer, sound for the Merry Wallopers audience was cut, as described in the band's video, and that comments after there were not audible to the public. Yeah, see, here's the solution, right? If you have a thing against having flags on stage, you just take the flag away and let the show continue, right? That was the mistake they made. What they did is they cut their audio off and said, you can't play anymore because you have a flag on stage. They completely cut them off. That was the wrong decision. The festival further apologized and pledged to make a substantial donation to humanitarian relief efforts for Palestinian people. For context, the Victorious Festival is operated by Superstruck Entertainment, which is owned by the global investment firm KKR. Am I supposed to know who KKR is? KKR is known as Kohlberg, Kravis, Roberts & Co. is an American global private equity and investment company. As of 2024, the firm has completed 770 private equity investments. They've made a lot of money. They're owned by the U.S. And as we know, the UK, the U.S., and Germany are vehemently supporting Israel in their genocide. So that's where they stand, I guess, if you want to make it political as a private equity company. Many artists like Massive Attack and Brian Eno spoke out against the KKR earlier this year, signing an open letter that urged Field Day Festival to distance itself from the firm over its alleged stakes in weapon manufacturing companies. Yes, we did a story about this. They are the ones that are they take the investments they make in your festival, they take that profits they make and invest it in other things like weapon manufacturing for Israel corporations who are occupying Palestinian territories. Any more on this story? Elsewhere, of course, Kneecap, that stuff is still in news. They're a center of much debate after they've expressed their freedom of speech and how festivals fail to protect artists' right to free expression. It's music, it's expression. You're gonna get political, guys. I swear to you, there's not a single song you can give to me that's not political. That's not a political song. Even children's songs are political, okay? All music is political despite the aforementioned, that is people's ideas being expressed in a musical form, okay? And I'm really tired of this kind of woke stuff, right? Where it's like, games aren't supposed to be political, music isn't supposed to be political, art isn't supposed to be political. It's inherently political. It's impossible for you to take politics out of something that is political. Anyways, let me finish the story so I can finish my rant. The Irish rappers have repeatedly used a platform to speak out, not against the Jewish people, but against Israel's war. Regardless, many politicians have tried to remove the band from festival lineup and labeled them as anti-Semitic. NECAP has consistently denied accusations of any anti-Semitism, claiming that those attacking the band have weaponized false accusations to distract, confuse, and provide cover for genocide. The only thing that NECAP is anti-genocide. The only thing most of these bands are is anti-genocide. And I think everyone should be anti-genocide. Personally, call that a crazy statement there, but let's not kill people en masse. Yeah? Give me a non sequitur.
Well, at least they didn't run out of beer.
That's what we know. They probably had to start selling it for free because everyone left the festival.
Did you know that 10 of the G20 recognize Palestine as a state? Argentina, yes. Brazil, China, Indonesia, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and Turkey, as well as permanent invitee Spain, see Palestine as a state. Australia, Canada, France, Germany, well, don't quite see it, although France, Australia, and the United Kingdom and Canada have stated their intention to recognize Palestine as a state by September, which is next month.
We've talked about that.
Next week.
We've talked about many times. Week. So
by next week.
Time for them to stand up to what they said they were going to do. Yeah, 100%.
Depending on conditions, certain conditions being met. So here's some conditions. What are their conditions? Probably something they can't meet. So who knows? Maybe there's your non sequitur and your actual sequitur. So you can. I did send you a video, and it's time for this day in history.
I am downloading it. Let's roll the segue for this day in history.
All right, this day in history. We're going back to the year 325, and the Council of Nicaea.
Associate. I'm going to associate something in this day in history with something else.
At 325, the Council of Nicaea, the first ecumenical council of the Christian Church, called by the Emperor Constantine I, brought to an end the controversy of Arianism, concluding that God the Father was the equal status with God the Son. Well, I'm glad you concluded that your invisible man belongs to this and that. That's all special to me. Oh yeah, the guy we can't even freaking tell who's what. We gotta decide on who God is. Like God has no choice, right? God is sitting around going, "Well, hope they decide who I am now." God don't give a shit. If God exists, He don't give a shit about what you think.
God is a woman. How about that? Why is some God the creator of the universe? Fuck that.
God is a black woman.
Yeah, 100%.
You're gonna be really pissed off when you get to heaven. 1530. Oh, it's a black woman. Shit, I had totally miscalculated. Let me recalibrate here. All right. Anyway, that 1530, Ivan the IV, or Ivan the Terrible. All the reviews are in, and he was terrible. And the Grand Prince of Moscow and the first Tsar of Russia was born. So, Mom decided, yeah, that kid's terrible right from the start. And that was in 1530.
I think it was after all the terrible things he did that they started calling him that.
Yeah, it was Ivan the IV. Ivan the First was Ivan the alright. Ivan the Second was Ivan, fair to middling. Ivan the Third was
third time's a charm, pretty good.
But yeah, good but not good enough. They tried it one more time with Ivan the Fourth. It's like, yeah, let's just give up on Ivans. No more Ivans.
He's terrible. This guy's terrible.
He's terrible. He's terrible. He's starting over. 1835, in this day, New York's The Sun began running a series of news accounts that falsely claimed British astronomer John Herschel had observed all sorts of life on the moon, including a winged human creatures about 4 feet tall. It began known as the Great Moon Hoax. A lot of people still believe it because they're morons.
Sadly, yeah.
Though the Sun never retracted the stories. Oh, way to go! Way to become a
These weren't
parody
real,
of
by
yourself.
The way. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
You will figure it out for yourself. We don't care. We have no journalistic integrity. 1900 is the birthday. Sorry, it's the death day. German classical scholar and philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche died at the age of 55. One of the most influential of all modern thinkers. I think Friedrich Nietzsche actually said, "God is dead." Yes, and we killed him.
Yeah, remind you that he invented the philosophy of nihilism, but he himself was not a nihilist himself. Oh, people always attribute him to being a nihilist. He was not a nihilist.
Right. Again, if we're God ain't gonna save you, you're a fool if you think he is. I'm just saying. Little children in this world went to their deathbed thinking God was gonna save them, and he never showed up. 1916. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you about that, but how about this? God helps those that help themselves. You got to get off your ass. You got to meet them halfway. How about that? 1916, President Woodrow Wilson signed the Organic Act, which established a National Park Service. So Wilson was a definite racist, but at least he did that. 1919, well, he was. His favorite movie was, whatchamacallit, Birth of a Nation, which is all about the KKK.
Yep, Birth of the
1919. Yeah. 1919, speaking of racist, George Wallace was born in Clio, Alabama, four-time governor of Alabama, 62 to 66, which was the notorious
big
years.
Jim Crow guy, probably, right?
Yeah, where he stood in the doorway of the University of Alabama and told Bobby Kennedy, who was the attorney general, that you cannot enter this. And then Bobby Kennedy said, "Get out of my way," and went in. Black people were allowed to go to the University of Alabama for the first time. George Wallace stood in the way. After he was shot in an attempted assassination run for president in 72, he changed his stripes. He became an anti-segregationist. In his later years, he was elected again in 1982 as governor of Alabama. So even a racist can change his mind.
Hey!
Somewhat. And speaking of racists, John Birch. On this day in 1945, John Birch, an American Baptist missionary and U.S. Army intelligence officer, was killed by Chinese communists. Later inspired the foundation of the John Birch Society, which we see this day in modern-day MAGA. Yet the same people, the same racists that decided everything that isn't for white people is communism. That's what they decided all at once. And that's all they've ever been, ever since the formation of the John Birch Society, white racists. 2009, American politician Ted Kennedy died at the age of 77. Another controversial person dying. A lot of controversial people dying on this day. John Birch died. Ted Kennedy died at the age of 70. Non-controversial unless you're a flat earth moon landing denier. Neil Armstrong died on this day at age 82. He was the first person to walk on the moon. Said one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. Although the radio signal was interrupted for when he said a man, and it came out as one small step for man. You didn't hear the a part because of radio. It's not perfect. And one giant leap. Anyway, he died on this day at the age of 82. Also dying on this day in Neil Armstrong died in 2012 on this day at the age of 82. John McCain passed away 6 years later at the age of 81. And another guy that was a pilot like Neil Armstrong, also a prisoner of war, presidential candidate, lost to Barack Obama in 2008, and was probably the last decent Republican.
Yeah, the last person to lose in style, so to say, right? He never...
Right. Didn't cry about it later. Mitt Romney lost his style.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney took his loss. Mitt Romney took his loss like a man in 2012 too. At least a grown man. So we remember John McCain as being a national, prisoner of war who could have turned on his buddies. He chose to be tortured. He could have been released. He was the son of an admiral. He could have been released as a big war propaganda coup. And he said, nope, my men have been here longer. They can be released sooner. So Paris liberated on this day in 1944 as we go back into history. Our featured event on this day, 1944, some 2 months after Allied invasion of Normandy, Paris was liberated from German occupiers as Free French and 2nd Armored Division under General Jacques-Philippe Leclerc entered the city. Our featured, our birthdays today. George Wallace, we did. It is British actor and Scottish man Sean Connery. Sean Connery would be 95 today if he was around. He was born in 1930. Also, the birthday of Regis Philbin, who would be 94 if he was still around. Elvis Costello's birthday is today. He's turning 71. He was born in 1954. And Tim Burton, American director and besties with Johnny Depp, made all of those scary movies. Tim Burton, born in 1958. So Tim Burton turning
macabre
67. Macabre. And those are your days. Your birthdays today. Sean Connery. We'll read the rest of these as Sean Connery. It's National Secondhand Wardrobe Day. National Kiss Your Makeup Day. National Whiskey Shower Day. I like a whiskey shower. As we call whiskey in Scotland, we call it whiskey without the E. National Banana Split Day. National Park Service Founders Day. Yes, it's National Park Service Founders Day. So those are your days. Your banana splits, your everything, your mispronunciations, your spins of the wheel. August 25th, 2025, on Before Banana Splits.
All right, well, I have an associate for this story, which is, of course, I'm a huge secondhand clothes wearer. I love not buying clothes, and so, I love getting, of course, as a second-born child, I got a lot of my older siblings hand-me-downs, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I even stole some of my mom's clothes. I still have it now, too. Take care of your clothes, wear it secondhand, and stop buying fast fashion. I definitely stopped buying fast fashion, because that shit does not last long at all. It just turns into moth food. Okay, there's your associate. There are no UN observances today, sadly, so this has been Allison here from the Netherlands. Hope you have a good rest of your Monday. And of course, Roger from the East Coast of the US. Do not forget that you can support the show on Patreon because we make no money from doing the show for the last 3 years. So if you would like to support us, we have several different levels you can support. You can donate $1. You can donate up to $10. You get special stuff for that thing. And go ahead and support us on the Patreon. It's in the chat now on YouTube. And, well, if you want it on Twitch, you can find it. But supporting Twitch on Twitch is also great. Don't forget to follow and subscribe if you're not already. Turn on those notifications so you know when we go live and post a video. And here is our Sean Connery mic drop moment.
Sean Connery, yes.
Sean, I've always been fascinated with how different studios work when you're making a movie. You did a film with Disney years ago, Darby O'Gill and the Little People. I was wondering, did you have any
got a deep cut
with
from
Mr.
my
Disney back then, and how was Disney?
That's the scariest thing for an actor.
Well,
I remember your first ever movie. Please don't remember that.
We were there and we all went to the races together.
I remember that piece of crap you were in.
It was a very Irish story, and in fact,
I didn't know how to act back
to
then,
the studios at Disney, not because
he got hired
film,
for his
because
name in that movie.
Have a deal with them, and look around the place. Because when I went there, I don't know, it must be 38 years ago now. There was a place
38
called
years
Nunnery,
ago.
where there were
Deep
women
cut.
making all the pen drawings, and no men were allowed in there. But I found him absolutely charming.
Charming old Scottish guy.
I'm sure you're very
his doppelganger right
As
there.
an actor, to be recognized.
One of your band members kept calling me Sean Connery once upon a time. I don't even remember that when you were in high school.
Yeah,
look like
he had more
Sean
hair than us
Connery.
back then.
So I started doing the Sean Connery.
Michael Caine and his wife, and
Yeah, but you have, I guess you have your hairline's a little, but your hairline's not like that. That's full on
one of
baldness.
Spago's.
I'm not the one that said that. It was somebody else.
And suddenly,
No, I know. I'm just saying they're wrong.
Who wanted me to
They're wrong. Of course they're wrong.
pictures with them.
If I was Sean Connery, that'd be James
Almost ended in a
Bond.
fight to get out of the place, and needless to say, one was a bit upset. They couldn't understand why I was upset.
Oh shit.
Going back to the mid '60s, at the height of all the James Bond hoopla, when you were assessing your career,
James
Dude, I gotta get that beard.
did you envision?
I can get that
you
beard.
would
I can get
be
my
such
beard looking at,
a
no
major
problem.
movie star
Yeah, the
as
thing
you
is, he
mentioned
has that
yourself?
dark mustache and the dark eyebrows. You've never had
the
that.
James Bond films would be around in the 90s either.
Yeah, I did it one time.
Well, I mean, since I've been alive.
Nah, you just don't remember. You just don't remember it.
I can't remember it because I wasn't alive, I think.
There you are. You just don't remember it.
Stock exchange, film business.
I have pictures.
And,
I have pictures from that time.
my feeling has always been that if
Yeah, you can get some,
suddenly one
you know,
dropped off
pencil.
the perch, or
This ain't about me.
it
It's about
didn't
Sean
happen or
Connery.
whatever, then I would always find somewhere to go and something to do.
I know I made it about me.
Now, I have a question, and I asked this as a person
doesn't have
who
a beard
has
here.
lost quite a bit of my hair. I
it's two
freaked
different
out when I
interviews,
started
several
to lose
different
my hair,
interviews.
and someone sat me down and said, "Mark, there's nothing wrong with losing your hair. Look at Sean Connery, how confident he is with
Well,
his
I'm
hair."
sure he really
I'm just wondering,
appreciates you
when
mentioning
you
that.
started to lose your hair, did it bother you, and did you ever?
He's always been that balding guy, as far as I know.
Hey, you're bald. How does it make you feel?
My hair was starting to go.
Doesn't-
well, I don't know how
Shouldn't
old
affect
you
you
are,
at all,
if you're
man.
38.
It's just a thing.
There's a lot of people who are very self-conscious
Well,
about
my
it.
hair went much
Of
earlier
course.
than that when I was starting.
The whole
on
industry
bond. Well, I was
built on it.
35 on the bond, I suppose. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, to
Anyway,
make you
it's not-
self-conscious that
it's
you
not
need to
the
fix
end of
it.
the world.
Hims
It's
is
not
called
important,
Hims.
really.
Oh my
I
God,
think
you're
the really
imperfect
stupid
man.
thing is to
Here's
see
some
somebody
stuff
who's
for
got
you. I'm like,
A wisp
yeah,
of hair that's
okay.
8 feet long that he's coiled around and he's kind of nailed it to the back of his head.
talking about Trump.
It looks like, a snake that's about to take off.
Looks like a snake.
I don't understand the point of it. And then when the wind blows, they'll cut it short.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.